Let's talk peak performance in trading. Guys, if you're not tapping into peak performance, you are holding yourself back. In this video, I'm going to be talking to you about why, how you can do it, and what are the benefits. So let's just dive straight in because this is what you're here for. In trading, the ultimate goal is for you to be able to consistently tap into peak performance. See peak performance almost like flow state. You've probably heard of these terms, flow state. How do I get into the flow state? Well, there's certain things that you need to do to tap into that. So many traders right now are just rocking up to the charts, not even being aware of their state of mind and wondering why they're making consistently bad trading decisions. So almost see your peak performance as you in that top flow state. And when you're in that flow state, you can trust yourself to be confident enough to make good trading decisions. And if you make them consistently, chances are your results will benefit. Imagine almost like a sportsman, like a footballer that just turned up to a Champions League final, for example, and wasn't in the right state of mind. What's the chances they're gonna have a good or bad game? Probably bad. It's like guaranteed failure. But they wouldn't do that. They would do sets of things to mentally prepare them for that. So almost see, when you're in your trading space and you're in your zone, in your flow state, whatever it may be, your goal is to be in the right state of mind so you can perform. See it as almost like a sport. Way too many people in this industry are just relying on, I understand a strategy, that's good enough. It's not. It really isn't. That is just a smidge of what you need to tap into. So I want you to use this video as a prompt as to you tapping into that flow state, you tapping into that peak performance, and ask yourself the question every single day, what are you doing to tap into peak performance? What is your environment like? For example, I'm just in my trading setup right now, and what's important to me is the feng shui, how I feel, and what I mean by that is that what have I got around me that helps me tap into the flow state, tapping into that peak performance? And how can I make sure that I have a clean and clear mind so I can make concise, decisive decisions in the moment when I need to make them? And this is a part that I want you to think about. For example, I've just got some simple things here. My journal, this is one of the key things. So tip number one, if you like, make sure that you've got a journal. Make sure that you're journaling your thoughts. Make sure that you're reflecting on how your week has been. Make sure that you've got your goals written out so you're clear and concise. Because chances are, if you haven't, you're just turning up to the charts in hope that you're gonna find the Holy Grail and you're just gonna suddenly just hit these streak of wins, or because you understand knowledge about the markets that you'll just win. If it was that easy, every knowledgeable person about trading would just win. But we know that's not the case. This is a mental game. You need to learn how to wire your mind in the right way that sets you up to win. So I want you to first and foremost think about it right now. Just take a moment to think about what have you done recently that you think that gets you in the flow state? Because think of it like this. If we know that trading is 90% psychology and 10% technicals, we need to work on our psychology. Well, why is that important? The reason why it's important is because pretty much anyone can learn technical analysis. Regardless of what strategy it is, anyone can learn technical analysis. Give them enough time, they will learn it. Could be 3 months, could be 6, could be a year, 2, 3 years. They will eventually understand everything they need to know about the financial markets or a strategy. Execution, however, where will that lie? That will come in the flow state. That will come in the mental game. That will come in trading psychology. All of these areas that are designed to help you win. Where if you're not tapping into that enough, how can you expect to be hitting the results that you want to hit if you don't know how to get there in the first place? So it's very scary to me to think that there are hundreds of thousands of traders right now that are not even exploring the avenues of tapping into their flow state, and they wonder why they don't get the results. Remember, this game is all about technicals for most people, but the reality is it's the inner work and your psychology that will actually hold you back. Think of it like this. What one area could you work on to help you tap into that flow state or peak performance, if you like? Do you think that traders or successful traders are indecisive or decisive? Decisive, right? Because you've probably experienced it yourself. You know when these trade setups set up and you see it within a fraction of a second, you know that is a good setup, and you just place the order, you execute on it, and it plays out. You didn't have to think about it, you didn't have to overanalyze it, you probably analyzed it way before that, you planned for it and you knew it, and you could be decisive. Now, think about how many times you weren't decisive and what happened. Every single time you weren't decisive, you and ah, you're not too sure, you try and force things, you try and make the picture what it is, you're forcing it. That already is the clue that you're not in a peak state of mind. If you was in a peak performance state of mind, you would ask the right questions, you would know, and you would be decisive with it. And way too many people, they're just literally rocking up to the charts and relying on whatever emotions they're feeling that day. Well, what if you just had an argument with your spouse? What if something has happened traumatic in the family? What if something is happening with your job? Right? It could be negative people around you. So you have all these emotions and you're just relying on how you feel without doing absolutely nothing and just knowing a strategy to be in the peak performance. It's delusional. You're holding yourself back. So I want this to be the trigger for you, is that how can you expect to achieve the results you want to achieve if you're not doing anything to get yourself in the right state of mind? So at least we can all agree on one thing right now, is that your trading success will be determined on your consistency and how many times you can be in the flow state. So what I mean by that is that imagine 10 to 15 times a year you have that peak performance unconsciously. And what I mean by that is that you just had one of those days where everything seems to go well. You work out, you go for a run, you achieve your goals, you tick off all the tasks or the goals that you've set, you hit a couple of trades, maybe one trade, everything seems to just work out well. Probably happens without you even realizing 10 or 15 times a year. How would it feel to know that you could tap into that on demand by learning what the sequence that you need to do that's tailor-made and bespoke to you, that you could tap into that on demand, that you're no longer just relying on those 10 to 15 days a year, that it just happens without you even doing anything spontaneously, that it's happening for you 100 days a year, 200 days a year, 300 days a year. It's not going to be perfect, so you're never going to get 365. It's almost virtually impossible, and I don't believe it's even healthy to strive for that perfection. However, imagine that you just could tap into that for yourself, even 200 days a year. How much better would your performance be right now? How much better would it be if you was in that peak state of mind more consistently than not, and that you knew you could do 1 or 2 or 3 simple things that's tailor-made, that's wired to you, that just gets you there, just raises your vibrational frequency. That is what I want you to think about. So when we talk about things like peak performance, this is not a nice to have. This is a necessary ingredient towards your trading success. Now, short term, medium term, long term. If you do not know how to achieve peak performance, you will literally coast on by. You might hit a sequence of wins here and there, but it will always hold you back. You will never get to that next level. And the top sports people, the top athletes all over the world, they know one thing: they know how to tap into that peak performance in the right moments when it matters. And those that can focus and they can get there, they make it happen. So I want you to start practicing things like, how can you become more decisive? The more decisive you are, the better trader that you will be. The more focused you are, the better trader that you will be. And what 1 or 2 or 3 simple things could you do and just work out? Spend some time over the next couple of days. Start writing out, just put it down on a journal, right? Put it down on a journal and start writing out peak performance and your own personal little checklist. It could be 2 or 3 things of what you think you could do to experiment on, get excited about it, experiment on, that is going to help you tap into your peak performance. I love my setup and my vibe, this atmosphere that I've created, because every single time I come in here, I'm already anchored that to, right, this is my peak state of mind. This is my trading den. This is what I know I need to do. I need to focus. I need to do sets of things. I've got my goals here. I know exactly what I'm here for, and I have the clarity, because clarity is king. So guys, if you want to learn how to tap into that flow state and achieve that peak performance step by step, we created something recently called the Rewired program. You can go and check this out on rewiredtrader.com. You can browse all of the modules, and it is essentially step by step. I'm going to link it in the description so you can go and see that for yourself. So if you're someone who's serious about your trading goals and you want to level up your mindset and you want to go that step by step, maybe you've resonated with this message and you've realized, wow, I'm actually not working on my psychology and I'm going to miss out the biggest ingredient that's going to serve me, not just for now, but for the long run. If you're someone who is serious and you have financial goals, you want to trade 6 figures, high 6 figures, 7 figures, 8 figures and beyond, You will not get there without working on your mindset. So what we did over the last couple of years is we reversed engineered that step-by-step practical things, modules that you can tap into, correct your self-image, deal with your self-worth, learn how to tap into that high level of self-awareness. But most importantly, it all leads up to that peak performance. So peak performance is one element, but there's lots of other ingredients and that recipe for that step-by-step that you need to tap into, that you have at your disposal. Not only that, so many resources I couldn't even tell you just in this episode alone, so go and check that out for yourself. We have a little internal community as well that are all working on their mindset, scaling up and making sure that they're in the right state of mind consistently. So it's all there for you. And for those of you that are not subscribed to the channel, make sure that you take the time to do that. Hit that like button. And if you want to keep in the loop and you're enjoying these type of videos, let us know in the comments. I'd absolutely love to know your takeaways as well. As like I said, what are you doing to get yourself in the peak performance? Guys, hope you enjoyed this episode. I will catch you in the next one, and I'll see you all soon. Take care, guys.
Mate, solid.
Good.
That's the one.